Hi everyone, welcome to my show, The Average. So this show was originally supposed to be recorded as a video, but due to circumstances with my camera and my storage space, I was no longer able to film said videos. So it's going to be a voice podcast type of vibe, but you know what? I'm still going to have the graphics in the background, of course. Today's episode, we're going to be talking about deposit thieves and hey boo text. Like, I feel like every black girl has been able to relate with this shift in the hair beauty industry, the service industry, and let's talk about it. Also, if you hear a bubbly noise, I'm sorry. This is a hookah. This is like, I want the vibe to be like, your homegirl on FaceTime or on the phone. Well, it was supposed to be on FaceTime, but like I said, the camera's broken. So, if you hear a bubbly noise, it is my hookah. I'm going to try to keep it professional because this is still, something academic, technically, if you know, you know. So, yeah. So, like I said, like, if you know, you know, everyone is going through this huge shift in the beauty industry. When I was younger, I used to get relaxers in my hair. I used to constantly be in a hair salon, whether that was for my own hair or for my mom's, or watching my grandma get her hair done, my aunts. I was always around the OG 2000s hairstylists. Like, that's where I'm coming from. So, being as though I'm now an adult and I'm kind of experiencing the service industry on my own, I'm spending my own money. No longer am I spending my mom's money, but I'm spending my own money. I'm having to make my own appointments, having to find styles for myself. I'm starting to see the shift. Now, back in the day, the OG stylists were completely different. You walk into a salon, first of all, you walk into the salon, you better say hi to everyone. It doesn't matter if you're getting your hair done by one person. If you're the client, you speak to everybody, clients and all other hairstylists included. So you walk into the salon, you're greeting people, you look on the screen, it's a bootleg movie on, the hottest movie. How they got them tapes, I'm not sure, but trust me, the hottest movie was on the TV. That's just because of the bootleg man. The bootleg man does eventually make his way on the scene to the hair shops, trying to sell whoever and whatever, something. You walk in, you got that experience with the entertainment, and the vibe is just different. You come to the hair salon, you're coming here to just experience home. Ultimately, you're in a space with other sisters. You're all here for one goal, which is to look pretty or to make people look pretty. And that was the vibe back then. Even as a child, I think it was a lot different where I had I had a children's perspective. So even as a child, it was like I'm walking in, everyone's kind of almost babying me, like I'm the baby of the shop, or you might be the child of the shop for that day. So, you got the OGs, they're trying to like watch what they say, but they're still going to gossip. You had that communal feeling, and it felt like everyone wanted to be there. And that was the vibe back in the early 2000s, mid 2000s of the hair and beauty industry. Everybody wanted to be there. Even going into like the nail shops. I remember when I was younger, I used to go to the hood nail shops, very much in the hood of Chester. And I used to go with my mom, and it was like I said, like just that communal being. Even the service providers who may or may not have spoken English, even if they weren't involved in the conversation, all the clients were involved in some type of conversation. And it was that same communal feeling. Nowadays, like I said, I'm an adult, so I'm spending my money, so I already have a different type of experience, a different type of perspective. But I'm spending my money, and I'm walking in. I feel this vibe that I don't really feel belong here. It has this upper echelon bougie. I don't really want to talk to people because I'm here trying to be the next arrogant Tay and Ari. Like, it doesn't have that communal sisterly vibe that it had back in the early 2000s. So now, like, the experience is different. Even, like, my friends can tell you. So I have my friend, she's on the phone here. Micah, describe how the beauty industry, like hair shops, were back when you were, like, younger. Like, how was that different than now for you?
Oh my goodness, it was so different. It was so easy to just call up, get an appointment, or even at the braiding shops, you could just walk in and get your appointment done. It's not the same no more. It's not the same. Most of the times, especially if you're getting braided, you're going to somebody's house and their work may be beautiful, but it's like the professionalism is not always there.
And I feel like back then, I feel like it was just a community. Like, I could walk into a shop and just really be a part of a conversation. Nowadays, I feel like these girls don't talk. They don't talk. They really don't. It's just a whole different vibe. Like, I used to go to the hair shop and get tea. Now it is no tea. Like, I'm not sure what's going on.
I got my hair one time at somebody's house. Tell me why they literally stopped braiding my hair to go beat somebody's ass. Like,
chill out now, Micah.
It's not even
Micah is going to a class. Relax.
Y'all ain't got.
Please.
I remember getting my hair braided, and they stopped braiding my hair to go fight.
Wait, who was this?
Oh my! It was somebody. Her daughter braided hair, and it was Mary Bennett. I don't even know. I can't remember their name, but I just know I never went back. And those braids, they lasted like a week. I took them out, and then I went to Jeffrey.
Oh, Jeffrey and Tara. Tara, I love her down, but Tara is an unprofessional. Now, if we're talking about unprofessionalism, that's Tara. No shade to my girl. I love her down.
I watched her aim a broomstick at her son's chest.
Now, the thing about Tara, speaking of stolen deposits, Tara is one where you can make an appointment weeks in advance on an appointment site. And the day of your appointment, will not obligate that. Like, I love her down. That's my cousin, friend, and all. And she used to babysit me. But, like, girl, you don't need to have a business. And I think that's the thing. Like, not everybody needs to have a business if you're not going to be professional. Even to the point where, like, I work at a hair store. And I'll ask somebody, like, oh, who did your hair? Oh, Tara. Oh, and I'll be like, oh, yeah, Tara. And she'll be like, oh, yeah, she plays a lot. Like, I was supposed to get my hair done 2 days. And she just did it now. And it's just... it's a lot. But, you know, this has been like a big thing that I've been seeing trending on TikTok and other social medias, where there's receipts posted about service providers that have stolen deposits. As my friend was saying, like, deposits were never a thing. You could always just walk in and have an appointment ample and ready. You always had somebody that was ready to do hair, eager to do hair. And that's just because that was the culture of your beauty industry back then. Now, I think that the beauty industry has changed so much due to big game changers like Arrogant Tay and Style by Jonathan and the other big dogs of the hair industry, and just seeing how they live this luxurious lifestyle, you know, with the help of clients and the help of doing hair, and how they've gotten their money. I think a lot of service providers now are trying to mimic those styles, and what they fail to realize is they're not technically Arrogant Tay. And I'm not messing with nobody's skills, but they're not Arrogant Tay, and you're not Ari. Like, I'm not Ari. Sorry, I'm not her. I have a regular job. I'm not a video vixen. I'm not an influencer. And I think that's where the service industry has messed up right now. So this brings us on to our next thing about the self-taught versus schooling. Now, this is like kind of controversial because it really depends on what services you're providing. Like, I know nail techs, it's really advised that you go to a nail tech that's licensed, because there's so many things about nail technicians that you need to know about, like the anatomy, the actual health, and different bacterial risk associated with doing nails publicly. Hair, honestly, hair is different because it's like there's different things. Like, braiders, technically braiders don't really need a license, but it's recommended if they're going to be in a shop. But other type of like hair service providers, it really just depends. Like, if you're bleaching, dyeing hair, like you need the license, because you need to know how to basically do chemistry. But it just depends. Like, a lot of now, because the trend is like lace fronts, anybody knows how to do a lace front. Like, lace fronts is one of those things where you can honestly be self-taught. I'm self-taught in lace fronts. I've had some real helmet days with my hair, and I've grew with my lace front skills. So it's just like there's just different rules and there's different things. But I know that I can say that I go to a licensed nail tech currently, but I've also gone to a self-taught nail tech, which was a disaster. Long story short, I went to this lady's house expecting my nails to be really cute because of what she promoted on Instagram. Only to get there and she's doing my nails. She asked me to get up to wash my hands, which is really like routine in any type of nail shop, nail service. As I'm getting up, I smell cigarettes and I'm like, whoa, like what's going on? This lady is smoking near a bunch of chemicals, like flammables. And the thing is, like, if you went to nail tech school and you were licensed, like, you would know that's a big no-no. Anybody with really common sense would know. But it's one of those things. So, and you know, this kind of goes hand in hand with the whole thing about professionalism and, you know, has professionalism, the degree of which every person has it changed? I think it has. I think ultimately the OG stylists, they had this certain level of professionalism while still being like really communal and just being like, you know, a shoulder for their clients. They also were professional. Like, I had old school clients where you can make an appointment 3 weeks in advance. This is before the scheduling, online scheduling, and the day of your appointment, they'll never forget because they just know. Nowadays, I think a lot of these stylists, they don't really care. They got their deposit. They don't care what you do with it. They got that $15. They don't care what you do. If you show up, no. And a lot of times, because there's all these online scheduling apps where you put in your cards prior to, a lot of these girls, if you decide not to come because of whatever, even if it's due to their professionalism, they're going to charge a card, which I think is illegal. And, you know, we need some regulations about it, but that's just that. And, you know, the whole thing about stylists being outed on social media, I know it was this big thing, I believe it was last year, with on Twitter. It was this thread about Philly hairstylists, and it was everybody from Philly was just commenting these unprofessional stylists and service providers, and it was this big thing. Like, but I think as a community, we need to kind of help each other out with that. Nobody wants to go to a stylist because of what they have on Instagram and thinking they're going to get this experience, all to call them to find out that this lady, she's not a good professional. Like, she's not good, she's late, she's leaving the middle of your appointment to go pick up her kids, like she's eating in front of you, her boyfriend's in the same room. Like, it's just, I think that unprofessionalism should be outed. While I will always support black businesses, I think it's very important that we also stick together with helping each other out. So if there is somebody unprofessional and they do get outed on TikTok or Instagram or Twitter, I think kind of having that outing and that exposed value, I think ultimately will help them get themselves together. And it also kind of goes with this PR thing of like trying to clean up your brand. I think it kind of lights a fire under these service providers to clean up their brand and make sure that their reputation is A1, and to realize that reputation and word of mouth is everything more than any Instagram page could show. And just one last thing I want to touch on this episode is, should you DIY or should you still support the businesses? My answer is always going to be mixed. Sometimes I DIY, especially like during that COVID time when I was like fresh in undergrad. I was real heavy with the DIY. Now I'm starting to move to the point where I'm like, well, I'm out of school. I'm making more money because I'm working more hours. I deserve it. I'll just go to the salon. And that's just me. But there are certain things where I'm like, this is a service that's really rare to find, or it's really rare to find somebody who actually wants to do it. So I'll just DIY it myself. But that's just my take. I think there's a lot of good resources for one to DIY their own hair or their own nails or their own lashes. Lashes is one of those services where I DIY. I don't care what occasion it is. I'm going to DIY my lashes because I feel so uncomfortable when there's somebody touching my eyes and I'm literally sitting there with my eyes glued shut. So that's just my take. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Should you DIY? How you feel about this boom of service providers and, you know, the unprofessionalism that they may or may not come with. Let me know how you feel about the episode, and let's start a community in the comments. Thank you all for listening and watching, and have a good one. Peace. Hi everyone, welcome to my show, The Average. So this show was originally supposed to be recorded as a video, but due to circumstances with my camera and my storage space, I was no longer able to film said videos. So it's going to be a voice podcast type of vibe, but you know what? I'm still going to have the graphics in the background, of course. Today's episode, we're going to be talking about deposit thieves and hey boo text. Like, I feel like every black girl has been able to relate with this shift in the hair beauty industry, the service industry, and you know, let's talk about it. Also, if you hear a bubbly noise, I'm sorry. This is a hookah. This is like, I want the vibe to be like, you know, your homegirl on FaceTime or on the phone. Well, it was supposed to be on FaceTime, but like I said, the camera's broken. So